Fabulous. There we go. So here we are. This session looking at anxiety and ways of overcoming anxiety. And there seems to be a real trend at the moment for people to almost want to wear a badge that says I have anxiety. And I don't mean that in any sort of derogatory way, but it's almost, especially in younger people, it seems to be a thing. And there's a big difference, first of all, between anxiety and worry and just forward thinking and planning. And one of the things I'm seeing, certainly when with some of the people, certainly the younger people that I work with, is that they're being told that they will have anxiety. They're actually being told, my brother's kid at age 4 was told she would have anxiety in her life. Um, and it's like, well, if you tell a child at that age that they will, then they will, because they're highly suggestible. Um, However, it's quite often what is getting confused, or what I'm noticing is getting confused. People will come and say, I have anxiety, I'm worrying, I'm anxious. Um, and you get them to talk through what they're doing, and it turns out that they just like to plan ahead. They like to forward think. But somewhere along the line, they've been told that looking at, maybe, I don't know, let's take for example going somewhere, going out somewhere, and they've they'll sit down, and before they go, they'll just go through what's going to happen, where it's going to happen, what they're going to do if this doesn't happen, what they're going to do if that doesn't work. So just basically planning to make sure that whatever happens in that day is going to be good. And unfortunately, somewhere along the way, somebody is telling people that this forward planning is anxiety. And there's a big difference, really big difference, between having a healthy concern for how something's going to go, and actually having anxiety. And it's it really is a big difference. Um, in my book, You Can Do It, Overcome Anxiety, I look at some of the different kinds of anxiety, and sometimes it can help to put it into boxes of, this is social anxiety, this is performance anxiety, um, but the underpinning processes, the underpinning thoughts that are going on in our minds that generate that, they tend to be more universal. I find that you get somebody coming who has anxiety about driving, and somebody who has anxiety about being in groups of people. And although the way that anxiety manifests is different, the actual kind of process that's going on within has some very universal kind of elements to it. And like I say, it can be good to put it into component boxes, but also we can overcomplicate. As human beings, we're really good at overcomplicating things. Now, if we go back, anxiety is, first of all, it's a throwback to many hundreds and thousands of years ago, where we're living in an environment that's hostile, an environment where there are things that will kill us and eat us quite happily. And in that situation, alertness, awareness to the dangers is important. And that is where our anxiety really stems from, is this time where if you stepped outside where you live, there were wolves, lions, bears, whatever that's possibly going to consume you. And anxiety kicks in, and it's basically, in its very simplest form, is a friend. It's that, if I bring it to modern day times, if you're walking with a friend through a town or a city, and you go to cross a road and you've not seen a car coming, and they go, "Whoa, to grab your attention to just say, look, don't cross yet. There's a danger coming. Now, that's great. But if you don't hear that friend then needs to shout a little louder. And then if you still don't hear that friend needs to shout even louder still. And there comes a point where that friend has to really shout at you, grab you, and shake you and pull you back to stop you stepping out in front of a bus or a car or something. And that really is what's happening with anxiety. There is something our mind is saying, just be aware in this situation. And sometimes that can become around because in the past we've been in a situation where something's happened that's not been great. And so our mind goes, "Oh, this reminds me of that. Let's just give that shout out now." So we build an anxiety around it. But at its very heart, the purpose of anxiety is to look out for us. It's actually to let us know. But if we don't hear it, if we're not paying attention to what it's trying to tell us, then we run the risk of it ramping up and ramping up and ramping up until it's kind of starts consuming us. And the thing with anxiety is we can have it for years and not realize. And it can underpin so many things. I'm thinking just off the top of my head. I've worked with people who have had eczema, really bad eczema, and I've said to them, if there's an anxiety element to this, we can definitely help with it. And I've done the work, and the anxiety side of things has cleared up, and then the eczema's cleared up. There was a friend of mine who, bless her, she was pregnant, delighted that she was pregnant, but hating every moment of it because it was one, she kind of felt so sorry for her partner because she'd turned into this nightmare person, and she was getting morning sickness, and she, bless her, she was suffering with it, but so was her partner as well. And she was like, he's going to want to leave me at this rate. And so again, we did a session. Again, I was like, if anxiety is a part of this, and we can take control of that for you, if we can hear that, if you can plug into whatever that's about, and then remove that, overcome that anxious part, um, then there's a good chance this will change. And sure enough, we did the work, and she went from being ill all the time, being mood swingy, very angry, to just really enjoying the rest of her pregnancy. And that's a few years back now. So they've got the little one is now not so little. Um, so anxiety and anxiousness manifests in so many different ways. One of the ways that it can appear to us, one of the ways and one of the things that happens, especially, I guess maybe because when it's night time, people notice these things more. But people who get anxious about sleep, quite often anxiety is behind bad sleep patterns and not sleeping, because people get anxious about whether or not they're going to go to sleep and get a good night's sleep. And that kind of then feeds this thing, because then if they don't, then they worry more and get more anxious about it, and it builds and it builds. And one of the things we can be doing is overthinking. And a lot of the people I work with will say to me, I'm going, so what's going on? Teach me what the process is. What are you telling yourself? What is it that you're saying to yourself? And they will quite often, more often than not, in fact, be, well, this is a situation, but then before I get into that situation, I'm overthinking it. And so that leads us nicely to the first simple, I love this. I love simple things, because simplicity often is more powerful than complexity. If it's simple and you don't have to think about it, you're more likely to do it. And if you're more likely to do it, it's more likely to work for you. As I've said before, there's a whole world of self-help stuff out there, and most of us read the books for a couple of weeks, feel good because we've read a book, and then forget it within about a month, and no one, no, it doesn't seem to work. But if you were to actually do the stuff in the book, hence you can do it, overcome anxiety. You can do it, and doing it is where this stuff works. But this method, this simple approach to overthinking, And I'll be honest, I only learned it a little while back, but I'm so glad that I did, because um, it's quite amazing how just knowing this has helped people. So this is something that if you find yourself overthinking, that you can use for yourself when the thoughts, you're analyzing something, you're pulling it apart. What if this? What if that? What if that? Fear is a really interesting thing. Um, when fear happens before an event and after an event. If you speak to people in moments that we would deem to be scary, in those moments, 9 times out of 10, people aren't scared. They're very much in the moment, just dealing with what has to be dealt with. And it's only when that moment has passed and they look back and they can evaluate it and decide whether it was scary or not, choose whether it was scary or not at that point. Um, or in advance, we'll choose to decide that something's going to be scary, even though it might not. But this usually involves overthinking beforehand or overthinking after. And this beautiful, simple way of combating overthinking is, I mean, it's a great tool for meditation as well, actually, I have to say. When you find yourself overthinking, quite often in those moments when we're by ourselves or when we're going to bed, just stop a moment, acknowledge that you're overthinking. That's easy enough. And then ask yourself a very simple, yet I think beautiful question. I wonder what my next thought will be. And in fact, you can experience that now. Just take a moment, take a breath in, and as you breathe out, just ask yourself, I wonder what my next thought will be. And notice what happens in your mind. And most of the people I've shared this with, and myself included, and it's why I pass this one on. I never pass anything on that I haven't tested and used and worked either on myself or with other people. And there's this beautiful thing with that question, such a simple question, and yet when you ask it, suddenly, rather than having this tirade of thoughts, you start looking, because you're wondering what that next thought will be. And usually, I say 9 times out of 10, it creates a moment of silence. And in fact, if you keep looking, trying to find that next thought, you realize that quite soon this is a really good way that you can start to develop almost like a thought switch to create stillness in the mind, to create a space between the thoughts. And if you can create one moment space, you can create another moment space. So anytime you're overthinking, or even just throughout the day, ask yourself this question: I wonder what my next thought will be. Because the more you ask it, the more that state of mind that follows, that still, quiet state of mind that follows, the more you practice it, the easier, like anything, the easier it will become for you to access that pause in your thinking, to take control of that. As you know, when I'm teaching meditation, the only time we stop thinking is, is when we're dead. I've always said it. I always feel a bit like uncomfortable saying it, but it's true. As human beings, we think. You can't stop your thoughts, but you can find ways of focusing your attention elsewhere. Think of a conversation. If you're in a conversation that's interesting, you focus in that conversation. If it's a bit boring, your mind drifts off somewhere, and for a while, you don't even hear that conversation. And that's what we're doing here. With this, we're changing the focus. So rather than being in that stream of thoughts, we're stepping out of it and creating a detachment and saying, I wonder what my next thought will be. And you will find that the more you do it, the longer that you can sustain that pause in your thoughts. This is a great one if you're lying in bed trying to get to sleep. Anyway, moving forward, I want to share with you, we're going to do a breathing technique with a very simple, and I use this every day in my meditations, a very simple mudra. Mudra being a hand position used, they appear in the East, in China, in India, Japan, um, Cambodia, and they are certain hand positions. You'll see them in dance, and those hand positions have meaning and symbolize different things, different deities. So those that know the language of the hands would be able to then know the story behind the dance as it goes on, which I think is a magical thing. But they're also used in meditation as a means of affecting everything from energy flow in the body to balance, harmony, um, and one that we're all familiar with, and yet people don't realize quite the benefit of it, is the prayer position. Hands, there's two versions of this. I'm going to share them both. Hands together in a prayer position, resting them at your heart. Simple and easy. The variation on that is to just have the fingertips touching. So each fingertip and the thumb tip touching like this, as though you're holding a ball in your hand with your fingers wrapped around it. So in that position, or in that position, hands held by the heart, according to yoga and the kind of Indian energy systems, this balances, brings harmony to the left side and the right side of the brain. And the positioning really should be that if you kind of have the hands on the chest, as you kind of gaze down, you should just be able to see the tips of your fingers. And if you're breathing out through your nose, give an extra hard breath out. You should be able to just feel that breath touching the tips of your fingers. And so what we're going to do, we're going to practice this with some slow, deep breathing. I say nothing overcomplicated here, but this will help you get more from just general relaxation. It'll help you get more from meditation. If your mind is feeling stressed and anxious, the prayer position really in a short period of time really starts to bring a more calm and balanced state of mind. So let's practice this. Let's give it a go. Talk a little bit about slow deep breathing. Slow deep breathing is a wonderfully simple, again, technique, and in that technique it is just as it sounds. We're taking a slow deep breath in, and we're following that breath all the way. Don't breathe just into your ribs. Don't breathe just into your ribs. Shallow breathing is not what we're after here. We're going to follow that breath and breathe it all the way to the bottom of your lungs, so the diaphragm starts to expand. Push the belly out a bit. In the future, I'm going to be doing a workshop on the hara, also known as the dantian. It's an actual true center within our body, according to Japanese energy healing, and we can activate. And if we operate our consciousness and our self from that place, we connect to everything so much more. And so we'll be exploring that in a workshop at some point. So we're taking a slow deep breath in, all the way in, hold it for a moment, and then just slowly breathe it out. And one thing that you don't often quite get told or read when you're looking at slow deep breathing as a technique is the aim and purpose of it is to get to that point where your slow deep breath is also so gentle and subtle, and it's a wonderful moment where all of a sudden you no longer know if you're breathing or not. You are breathing, but because your breath has become so slow, so gentle and soft, that your mind suddenly goes, am I breathing? Am I breathing? And usually in that first time that happens, you kind of find yourself jumping back into knowing that you're breathing. But once you've done that a few times, you really enter this place, and it's a beautiful place, a very calm and expansive place of mind, where that slow, deep breathing, it's going on in the background, but it's just become unconscious. It's become such a subtle and gentle thing, and you really feel very alert and very in the moment. So let's give this a go. Bringing your hands either into the palms together prayer position or just the fingers touching. If you're sitting up, then what I would advise to help get your correct posture is just imagine that you've got a string attached to the top point of your head, and a little bit like a marionette puppet, everything is just hanging and suspended and dangling from that point. And in doing that, it brings everything into alignment for you. So hands into the prayer position. And it can be good to state your intent. So I am going to meditate, to breathe slow and deeply, to bring balance and harmony to my mind. Then allow your eyes to close, if you've not done so already. And begin slow, deep breathing. Breathing all the way in. And out. And in. And out. Just nice and steady and slow. Nothing forced. Really emptying, when you breathe out, all the oxygen from your lungs, all the air, before breathing back in. And you may, as you're doing this, begin to notice the tingling, pulsing, the fingertips. But put your attention as you breathe in and out deeply. Put it all onto your hands. Maybe you notice heat getting stronger. Maybe it goes the other way. Maybe parts of the hand start to feel colder. And just continue. Each breath And it may be that you can begin to notice a sense of almost an energy flowing. Almost like it's vying between left hand and right hand and left hand. Just observe that. Each breath slow and deep. And I wonder when it is you start to notice those sensations in the hand beginning to even out, to balance. Now, in a few breaths' time, you can notice that sense of that balance, that energy just working its way up your spine from the arms to the shoulders, then up through the neck. And notice the calmness that you begin to discover now. In your mind. And if a thought arises, then just ask yourself, I wonder what my next thought will be. With each breath, allowing it to become as gentle, easy as possible. Allowing it to flow. And we'll continue on for a few more moments in silence. That's right. And then just return to your natural breathing. I'm going to lead you and direct you now into our second exercise. One that appears in You Can Do It, Overcome Anxiety. One of my favorite techniques in there, actually. Just take a moment to rest your hands back down out of the prayer position. Just be with that stillness. I want you to think about any worry or anxiety you have in your life at the moment. One particular area maybe of concern. To start with your eyes open, I'm going to ask you to take 3 deep breaths in, Breathing in. Hold it. And breathe out. Breathing in. Hold it. And breathe out. Breathing in. Hold it. And breathe out. Still with your eyes open, just very quietly and gently to yourself, I want you to name 3 things that you can see. Any 3 things that you can see. Don't have to look around for them, just things that are directly in front of you. Naming them now. Then allowing your eyes to close. And now I want you just in your mind to name 3 things that you can hear. Naming them now. That's right. And now name 3 things you can feel. Now I want you to gently open your eyes. Keeping your head still, move your eyes from left to right, half a dozen or so times. As you're moving them left to right, just say to yourself, I am calm and at peace. Repeat that 10 times whilst moving your eyes left to right. That's right. And now with your eyes open, just quietly in your mind, name 2 things you can see. Closing your eyes, name 2 things you can hear. And then 2 things you can feel. And gently opening your eyes, again start moving them from left to right whilst keeping your head still. And repeat to yourself, I release anxiety and embrace calmness. And just keep moving your eyes from side to side whilst you repeat that. I release anxiety and embrace calmness. That's it. Bring your eyes to center. Just in your mind, name 1 thing you can see. Gently allow your eyes to close. Just gently to yourself, name 1 thing you can hear. And then 1 thing you can feel. And gently open your eyes. Start moving them from left to right, left to right. And again, repeat about 10 times. I am calm and at peace, whilst moving your eyes from left to right. And just gently close your eyes and allow yourself for a while to just gently drift and enjoy those calm feelings. That's right. And just gently open your eyes. Take a moment, just be aware of how you're feeling. We'll move into the final part of today's session. So after those, you imagine you're already sitting comfortably and relaxed, but just have a bit of a stretch, a bit of a fidget. I'm going to ask you to just gently close your eyes. And begin now to imagine for me what it would be like if they were so relaxed, so heavy that you just could not open them. So relaxed, so heavy that you cannot open them. And when you are certain that they are that relaxed that you cannot open them, that certain that you cannot open them, just very gently test them. Try to open them. And then relax them with them closed. I'm going to take that relaxation over for you. That relaxation now flowing up through the top of the head, down through the muscles of the face, down through the back of the head and the neck, through the arms, to the elbows, to the wrists, to the fingertips, through the upper back and chest, the lower back and stomach, down into the hips, through the legs, to the knees, the shins, the calves, the ankles, to the heels, to the very tips of the toes. Just relaxed. There's nothing to do, just relax. The more you relax, the better you feel, and the better you feel, the more you can relax now, with each breath and each moment. And I'm going to count down from 10 to 0. 10 is where you are now. 0 can be in a beautiful state of inner focus and relaxation. And I want you to imagine as I'm counting down that 0 is like a doorway. It's like an entranceway. With each countdown, it gets closer and closer until you get to that point where you can step through that. Step through that, all the way through it, into a wonderful state of inner focus. That's 10, every cell, fibre and muscle of your body unwinding and relaxing, letting go. 9, drifting down through time and space. 8, with every breath you take and every word that I speak, it starts to become automatic now. You do not have to think about this, just relax. From 7 to 6, letting go deeper, 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 like a wonderful natural anesthetic, softening any tensions and allowing you to relax even more deeply than this. Now, 5, and 5's that midway point. If you think about a wheel on a cart, the outer rim can be spinning fast, you get down the spokes, but as you get closer and closer to the center, all appears calm and all appears still. And I want you to become aware now of that place within you that feels most calm and most still. And allow that feeling to spin and flow within you, to move within you as you relax deeper down to 4. And with every breath you take and every word that I speak, it is automatic now. You Do not have to think about it, just relaxed. 3, easing yourself down, letting go, just intensifying that wonderful feeling. 2, 1, all the way down, and that 0 now, that entrance way, that gateway, stepping through that. Stepping through that as you relax even deeper down. And I want you, as you step through that now, to go in your mind to a place, a mystical place, a magical place, the kind of place where you can make changes and you can connect to some really wonderful and good feelings. Just be there now. See the things you see, hear the things you hear. Know, feel, and understand everything that you know, feel, and understand that allows you to be in that place now. That's right. And as you look around that place now, I want you to notice a table. I don't know what that table looks like to you, but whatever that table looks like to you, go up to that table and notice that upon that table are 3 items. A simple beaded bracelet with 7 beads, each one a color of the rainbow. A wooden mushroom just sat there next to the bracelet. And a small pocket-sized figure, ornament of the Buddha. And I don't know whether that's one of the thin Thai Buddhas or whether that's the big-bellied Buddha that you can see on that table, but whichever one that is. And one of these 3 items is a gift for you. Now, I don't know whether you'll choose the rainbow bracelet to let go of anxiety now in your life, live from a more calm and centered place. Whether you'll pick the little wooden mushroom to let go of anxiety now in your life and live from a calmer and more centered place, or maybe you'll pick the Buddha statue, that little Buddha statue, to let go of anxiety now and live life from a calmer and more centered place. Whichever one you choose now to let go of anxiety and live life from a calmer and more centered place, make that choice now. Taking that item, you place it either in a pocket, or if it's the bracelet, it can go on your wrist. And looking around that magical and mystical place, you notice a second table. I'm not sure what it looks like, but whatever that table is for you, you go up to it, and upon it, there are 3 drinks. One is just pure spring water. The second is pure fruit juice. And the third one, that's a cup of tea. And I don't know whether you'll choose the spring water to drink, to take on board a deeper sense of inner calm and peace. Whether you'll choose the fruit juice to drink and take on board a deeper sense of calm and inner peace, or whether you'll choose the cup of tea to drink and take on board a deeper sense of calm and inner peace. However, whichever one you now choose to take on a deeper level of calm and inner peace, make that choice now, taking that drink, just savouring it as you drink every last drop of it, being aware of it going in through the mouth, running along the tongue to the back of the mouth, down the throat, through the body, As it descends inside, be aware of a deeper, cooling sense of calm and inner peace that starts to flow and spin within you. And looking around, you see a final table. I wonder what it looks like, that final table. As you approach the table, you notice just two items on it. One, a Hawaiian-style garland of flowers. Again, each flower a different colour of the rainbow. And the other item, a small brass bell. I wonder, will you choose the garland of flowers to bring back that deeper sense of inner calm and peace, and to feel good at the end of this guided journey? Or will you choose the little brass bell to bring back that sense of calm and deeper inner peace, to feel good at the end of this journey? Whichever one you choose now, to bring that sense of inner calm to your inner self, and to feel good at the end of this journey, make that choice. If it's the bell, maybe give it a little ring, hear what it sounds like. If it's the flowers, maybe you put them on. Whichever one you choose now, to feel good at the end of this journey. And to bring back with you that deeper sense of inner peace and calm. That's right. So in a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 10. 1 is where you are now. 10 can be eyes open, bringing back that peace, that calm, and that feeling good, ready to embrace the rest of the day. And you can discover new levels of calmness. You can wonder what that next thought will be, and discover the silence. And you can go with the flow and be more calm and at peace in all aspects of your life. That's 1, every cell, fibre and muscle of your body coming back. 2, ready to embrace that calm, that inner peace. 3, to feel good. 4, feeling a whoosh of energy flowing through the body, energizing and refreshing. 5, 6, coming back, take a nice deep breath, breathing that in. 7, 8, feeling really, really good. 9, and when you are ready to open your eyes, to discover more calm and more peace in your life, and to feel good, then and only then, on 10, open your eyes and feel good now. 10. And have a stretch and have a fidget. Feel good.